Hey guys, what's happening? It's Sean1604 coming at you with my third update on our Swansea Football Manager 2013 save. So I'm going to go quickly through the fixtures, transfers, because we are now in January, just jumped into the transfer window, and also I'm going to go through my tactics quickly. It was our user request from one of the guys watching the video, so I'm going to quickly go through that for you as well. So obviously the first thing we'll go through, I'll just jump into it just now, we'll get the fixtures up and we'll have a look at that. Okay, so the first thing, as I say, we'll go through is the fixtures, and we'll firstly go through the Premier Division, the Premier League, the fixtures even. So I think we left it last time, I believe we just drawn 0-0 with Liverpool was my last result. So I said that the next game I had up was Norwich, and obviously at the top, they were sitting at the top of the league at the time, so they were doing really well. I think they'd won 3 out of 3 games, so they were doing really well. So we went to Norwich. I'm not going to jump into the game, it's not really worth it to be honest, but we went away to Norwich and we drew 0-0, which I thought was a decent result considering how well they were playing at the time. I was quite happy with that. The next game was a disappointing loss, 4-0 at home to Newcastle. They totally, they did deserve to win it. We did have Ben Davies injured. I'll come on to injuries in a minute. It's a separate issue, to be honest. But yeah, they played better. I tried to change it up after we went, I believe, 2-0 down. And I tried to go more attacking, and it just didn't work, and it ended up, backfiring on me. We ended up losing 2 more goals by the time I'd even realised what was happening. So really, really poor game, and I definitely had a bit of a go at the players after that. We bounced back with a decent 2-2 draw at home to Southampton. We let in a really late goal, unfortunately, though, to Luke Shaw in the 87th minute, which was unfortunate. I believe Kyle Bartley was a bit injured in this game as well, so as I said, we did struggle a wee bit with injuries during this point of the season. We picked up another point though, so not too bad, but Southampton is a team we should be hoping to beat, especially at home. Next we had Reading. We beat 4-1 convincingly away from home, which was a really good result. We had Miku, Roland Lamana, Tommy Hoban and Jonathan de Guzman getting on score sheet, 2 goals there. Wasn't as comfortable as it looked, but we did play really well, and I was really happy with that performance, especially bouncing back from the previous result. Next we had Chelsea. This was probably my best result as a manager in the game so far. We beat Chelsea 1-0 away from home, which is a brilliant result. To be fair, Frank Lampard missed a penalty on the 28th minute, but my memory serves me correctly, I think it was a pretty poor excuse for a penalty, to be honest with you, so I wasn't too bothered, but played quite defensively. Obviously we picked up an early goal. It may have been a free kick, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm really happy with that. That's a really, really good result away from home. Obviously they did play, probably the better football overall, but generally I was really, really happy with my defence in this game. As you can see, if we have a look over here, Ashley Williams did get a man of the match with an 8.6 rating, so really, really happy with that result. We backed that up with a 2-0 home win against Wigan, again a team I should be beating. Miku and Ashley Williams getting on the score sheet. Pretty even contest in terms of possession, but we did have more shots, so overall quite good with that. And again, Ashley Williams got another man in the match. He's a really, really good defender in this game. Next we had a 1-0 home tie against West Brom. Ben Davies getting on the score sheet. My left back actually was somehow managed to get into inside left channel ahead of my left midfielder, and scored a pretty beastly goal in the 78th minute in a game that looked as if it was going to be 0-0. So really happy with that. Good result there. And then we had a game away against Man City. We lost 1-0, to be fair. We didn't play that bad. They did have more of the ball, but overall we were holding on, and we were doing quite well. And then obviously Carlos Tevez picked up a goal in the 59th minute, so what can you do? It's away from home at Man City, there's not much we can do there. Again, similar situation at home against Arsenal. We tried to hold on, we played decent. Possession obviously struggles against these type of teams because their passing is not really that great at the moment. It's something we are working on in terms of the midfield. But yeah, so we lost 2-0. Again, I wasn't overly bothered about that, I was kind of expecting that. This was one that kind of hurt me though, because we were playing really well in this game. The stats kind of show we were kind of even with Everton in this game. We did end up losing 2-1. We got an early goal, and we lost 2 goals, one later on in the second half. So 2-1, again I was looking more for a draw from that, especially considering we got the early goal. We eventually bounced back there after 3, that was 3 harder teams obviously we were facing. We managed to bounce back with a 2-1 home win against Sunderland. Pablo Hernandez and Jonathan de Guzman picking up the goals, and Stephen Fletcher got a penalty. I've had quite a few penalties against me this season, unfortunately. But yeah, so not a bad result there. We went on a bit of a poor run after that, to be honest with you. We lost 1-0 away from home at Stoke. I think, to be fair, we had a pretty decent game again, but we just didn't, we couldn't score, and we lost the goal in the 90th minute to Peter Crouch, which is very annoying. You can see, to be honest with you, if I just quickly jump back there, Stoke's goalkeeper had the man in the match rating 8.7, so he obviously had a good game. He made a lot of good saves from the ones that they had, and my keeper didn't really have to make that many good saves, if that makes any sense. The saves he did make were relatively comfortable from what I remember of the game. Then we went to at home at West Ham. This was probably my least happy I was at this point, because we lost 2 goals at home against West Ham. We really didn't look like we were competing. I think it may have been to do with the formation that I picked, to be perfectly honest with you, but we lost 2 goals in quick succession in the 71 and 79th minute, and to be fair, overall we had a decent game, but we shouldn't be losing that 2-0 at home. We did then bounce back, thankfully, against Fulham 2-0. You can see Kemi Augustine got injured though, and I said I'll come on to the injuries in a wee second, but this, the injuries started to pile up at this point. We did miss a penalty earlier on, and we did make them rule that, with the goals by Roland Lamana and Miku. Miku's not scored that many goals from me, to be honest, and he is playing majority of the time in a central striker role, and he's not really getting that many goals, which is a bit disconcerting, to be honest. But yeah, we controlled the game, so I was quite happy with that. And then again, we went on a poor run, especially the next 2 games. Away from home against QPR, we lost 1-0, especially a goal in the 80th minute in a game that looked like we should have won. If you look at the shots and the possession, we should have won the game, and we couldn't score. And it's something that I've changed up in terms of my training to work on my attacking, which I'll come on in a minute, to try and get more goals out of the team. But yeah, we lost the night goal here to Sean Derry. And next was a disappointing home loss to Aston Villa. Miku got injured in this game again, unfortunately. Don't think he was out for too long though, which wasn't too bad. But we lost 1-0 against a 23rd minute goal from Christian Benteke. So again, we had more of the game, I think, overall in terms of shots and things, but we just couldn't convert the game. And then expected, 2-0 at home to Man United. Again, we weren't really expecting to get much out of this game. Obviously, they had the majority of the shots. To be fair, we kept them limited in the amount of targets, so they were mainly long-range shots, but they managed to pick up a goal. To be fair, they didn't score till the 61st minute from Kagawa, but, it was kind of expected. We have just played this last game, which is my first game of the turnaround into 2013, which was a good, very, very good draw away against Tottenham. I was very, very happy with this. The team hung on, obviously, as you can see from the possession, but Tottenham are a really good side, as we'll see when we go into the league table in a little second. They are doing really, really well. Before I go into the league table, I'll quickly go in and show you the Capital One Cup. We got through a tie against Ipswich 4-1, which was a good result away from home. We played really well in this game. We would obviously expect to win it. We did lose an early goal, but we managed to pick it up and easily win the game. Unfortunately, we did crash out in the 4th round away to Tottenham. We held on. We had much better of the game, in my opinion. We did, we can see from the possession, obviously we didn't have that much possession, but we did have a lot more of the game than this really makes out, to be honest with you. We had a very good game, and I think it was unfortunate the fact that we lost. I think we had a really good chance later on in the game and we didn't take it to win the game. I think we hit the bar in like the 110th minute or something, and unfortunately we went to penalties, and penalties obviously are always a lottery, and we did go out, so I was pretty unhappy about that, but what can you do? As I said, it is a lottery. And the FA Cup with John Leeds, the FA round third round, that's my next game actually, is the one I'll be playing against Leeds, so this should hopefully be a win, but that's what I'll be aiming for anyway, obviously, but what can you do? We should really be winning that tie. It is away from home against at Ellen Road, but I definitely would be hoping to win that game. So as I said, I'll jump in and go into the actual league table now and show you this. So we're sitting 11th at the moment. We were as high as 9th at one point. So we've been doing really well. I'm happy with how we're progressing. I was offered to change my mid-season objectives to mid-table to get a bit more money, but I didn't want to do that. It was avoid relegation, and I thought we'll leave it at that for the first season. We'll see if we can avoid the drop. I'll be happy with that, to be honest. We're 9 points ahead of QPR at the moment, so we've got quite a good lead over QPR, and we're not that far off teams above us. If we were looking to get in the Europa League, we'd be looking at 7th, so I think that's a wee bit far out of our reach at the moment. But as long as I can finish somewhere around about mid-table, I'd be really happy with that for my first season, to be perfectly honest with you. I think it'd be a good result. If I can get into the top half of the table, it'd be even better, to be honest. But the main thing is, as I said, we avoid the drop. That's really the main point. As I said, next thing I'll quickly jump on to, now that I've showed you all the fixtures and where we're sitting at, which as I said I'm really happy with at the moment, as I'll go in and quickly do the transfer roundup. We did get some more money at this point in the season, which I didn't know. I think it's more of an English thing, because I'm pretty sure it didn't happen when I used to manage in Scotland and stuff. We got an extra 14 million. I don't know if the club's just doing well and they gave me some extra money and some extra wage budget. I don't know. But we got some extra money to spend, which I'm looking at spending at the moment. There is some, obviously we're still just in the transfer window, so there's still some deals going to be done, but I'll show you the ones that we have already got through. So the first one was we brought in Tony Watt for 3.3 million from Celtic. Now, anyone that knows me obviously as a Celtic fan, that was not the point of this. I'd got him scouted from someone else. The scouts that I'd brought in mentioned, and obviously his 4.5 star potential for £3 million. Really not that bad a deal. As I said, I knew he was good, and he was already in my scouting network, so I thought, why not? I needed a young striker, and I thought, why not take him on board? Ryan Gold, this was another really good buy from what I can tell. 525k from Dundee United. He's a youth player, he's only 17, but look, he can play every single forward position, including the two right attacking, mid attacking, left, and central midfield attacking, as well as obviously their normal position. So play a lot of different positions. He's only 17, 4.5 star potential for 525k. Really happy with that, big deal. Next was Rafidine Abdullah from Olympique Marseille. The good thing about this was 3 million, but he's again 4.5 star rated, 18. I'm looking to build for the future here, not just for this season. I'm looking to build for the next probably 2 or 3 seasons in the Premier League, so that's where we'll be aiming for. But the good thing was this guy was actually interested in Man U, and I stuck a bid in for him, and Man U backed off, so I got him, which I was really happy with, considering they probably would have signed for Man U if they'd offered him a contract, to be honest. So I was really happy that I managed to get this guy. And then last one at the moment anyway is Roman Rudenko, who was on I think he was on a free, and I had to pay for his contract to get him out of his contract because he was on a youth contract. 375k compensation, and again, for the future, 4-star potential striker, young boy. He's going to be in there with Tony Watt and competing in the future. I think that's the main thing I'm going to be looking at with him. In terms of outgoings, I think I've done up to obviously where the transfer window ended, so I've not had any more outgoings. I'm trying to offload at the moment Angel Rangel, because he is getting on in years, and I have other right backs, and I may look at bringing in a right back. So he's currently in contract negotiations with Southampton and Stoke. I just don't see him in the club anymore, to be honest. I'm also trying to get in a couple of other players, which I'll quickly run through. Try to get Bruno Martins Indi on a pre-contract. Good player from the looks of things. I've scouted him for a long time, and he's come up on all the ratings. He is getting offered contracts from other teams, obviously, so whether we get him or not is still to be remain to be seen. But considering I wouldn't need to pay for him, I think that'd be a really good bit of business. Mattia Perrin, this guy was already bought a wee while ago, and I hadn't actually went over it. But 4.5 star potential, goalkeeper from Pesquera. He's only 20. We needed a young goalkeeper behind Michel Vorm even, and he's going to be it. He's good stats already considering his age, and obviously we hope he'll just grow in the next couple of seasons. Juan Jose Pinto, who's currently considering his contract offer from us to get him out of his youth contract with Elche, can't say the name. He's a central back, he's only 19. Again, young boys, this is the way I do my team when I come into a squad, is to get a good barrel of young players coming into the team for the next couple of seasons when they develop. And João Suarez from Naval. This was a good spot from one of my scouts. If you look at him here, 1, 2, 3, 4 orange stats, he's only 17. Pretty ridiculous for that age, to be honest. A central attacking mid, and he's got really good fitness, acceleration, technique and first touch. He's already got a good set of stats there considering his age, so I'm hoping he accepts the contract. I think he may have had some possibly some interest from other people, but I'm hoping I get him from the teams that I've seen. I think he should hopefully come to us. And this is another one I'm looking at. So these, at the moment I've only got really one big outgoing at the moment in terms of my budget, so I've still got money to spend. As I say, we're only just at the beginning of January, so I'm still going to be looking for players. Don't want to go out and spend it all if I don't need to, but we do have money there to bring in players if we want. So I'm going to be looking at that, that'll be for the next video. But yeah, Jelly Vozen, I'm looking for a striker who can play there mainly, and Miku would then be in attacking midfield, and Tony Watt would be a backup. That's really what I'm aiming for. So this guy, you can see here, ridiculous mental stats, aggression, composure, concentration, decisions, determination, off the ball, teamwork, work rate, all in orange. He's got good stamina, decent everything else, and then he's got really good finishing at 17 as well. We really need a good finisher because we're struggling for goals at the moment. So that's where we are for our transfers. I'm conscious obviously of time for this video, so we'll leave it there in terms of the transfers at the moment. There will be an update obviously in the next video when I complete what I'm going to do for the rest of January, because I don't know, there's still some money there to spend, as I've said, so could still be getting a couple of players in. I'm just considering what I actually want to get in. Next thing we'll go through quickly is the tactics. As I say, someone requested this in the user comments, so if you want to see the tactics, this is what I've got. So this is the main formation I'm playing in the Premier League at the moment, is a 4-5-1 or a 4-1-2-2-1, if you want to call it that way. I see it that way, to be honest, more than a 4-5-1, although the game sees it as a 4-5-1. So I'll quickly run through how it works, and then I'll quickly go in and show you the actual team. So you've got obviously your two fullbacks, two central defenders, a defensive mid, a box-to-box midfielder, an advanced playmaker, two wingers, and a poacher. That's in terms of that. And then your attacking, your advanced playmakers set to attack, your poacher is set to attack, and your two wingers are set to support. So that's the main strategy I'm using at the moment, and then this gets changed depending on the team I'm playing against. So this, if I jump in here, I'll show you the general strategies. Rigid and counter are really set for bigger teams like Man U and Tottenham, where you really are holding on because they are better than me simply at the moment. I don't have the players to compete with them, so that's the way it's set. And then obviously if I come up against better teams that I can compete against, I'll really change that round down normally to balanced or fluid, and to standard or control depending on how good the team is. Passing style was set to more direct. I was playing a shorter passing game, but the team wasn't really picking it up very well, and passing is probably something I'm going to work on, as I've already said earlier, in the training, but I've changed it to attack at the moment, so that's the main thing I'm working on instead of ball control. I'm working on attack because we're simply not scoring enough goals. Creative freedom set to more disciplined. I just prefer if the players don't run about all over the place like headless chickens, to be perfectly honest with you. I prefer them doing what they're supposed to be doing, so that's why it's set to discipline. These are all just default, and nothing else has really changed. I've got my playmaker set at the left mid, attacking mid, and the target man also that, and target man set to feet. I think I've maybe adjusted some of the actual player stuff. So if I jump in here quickly and show you the instructions, so this guy is set to mentality normal, creative midfield freedom normal, so these are adjusted slightly from the normal. Cross from byline is also changed so that he mainly tries to stick to the byline, and hug touchline as much as possible. They do tend to cut in, even if it is set to this, there's not really much you can do. The wingers tend to cut inside, but hopefully this keeps them as much as they can to the outside. And this guy's the same, obviously, pretty much exactly the same as the guy on the left. The striker has changed a little bit. Mentality is a bit taken back, freedom's taken a bit back, and roam position is set to yes because he has a poacher, but he's going to be needing to, because he's up there on his own, he's needing to roam a little bit. Passing style set to short because I think it was set to more direct. I want him to basically link up play and then go and get the ball. Cross is really, I don't want him to be crossing, I want him to be passing and getting in the box. And hold up set to yes because he needs to hold up the ball because he's up there and on his own. Box to box midfielder is roam position no because it was set to yes. And passing style short, run from deep no. These are all to keep it as relatively defensive, because this would normally be a relatively attacking position, so it's set to be relatively defensive. And again set to hold up ball yes because this is my main player. This guy's set to much more attacking. This is a much more, he almost could be playing in an attacking midfield's position, but he does get back more. So mentality attacking, creative freedom much, passing style direct, and hold up ball yes. I want these two players to hold up the ball and distribute the ball out. That's what I'm looking for from these two guys. Depending on this player, as I said, it's Miku at the moment because he can play in that position, but generally it would be to Guzman, but he's injured at the moment. But he can play there, which is quite good. And then if we jump on lastly to the defensive mid, these defenders are all pretty much the same. I'll go through one of them just to show you, but the defence is all pretty much the same. Britain is set to defensive almost fully, closing down in zone half, tackling hard, passing still direct. I want to get the ball up the field, and long shots really, through balls really. I want to maybe passing and hold up the ball. No, I don't want to maybe holding up the ball. So that's that. And then the wing backs are all, I think they're just set to standard, and so is the defensive central defenders. I think are set to standard as well, from what I can remember. Yeah, they are. So that's my main strategy that I'm using at the moment. I do have this, which is a 4-2-3-1, but it really is not working in the Premier League at the moment. I'm going to have to go in and tweak some things in that, so I'm not going to show that just now because it's not quite ready for the Premier League. I'm not going to go in there and show it, but essentially, if you want to have a look at it, it is, ball one midfielder, a defensive mid, one that's box to box, and then your standard, two wingers, an attacking mid, and a approaching goal scorer. And then obviously the style set to fluid and standard. This is a much more attacking one. Even I do play this sometimes. I may play it against Leeds. I'm not going to consider it yet. I might play this against Leeds or lower down teams in the league. This might get played against. But as earlier, as I did say, I came up against, I think it was Newcastle, and I set it to this and ended up losing 2 goals. So I'm still trying to take it a wee bit because I think it's too attacking, to be perfectly honest with you. I think I might need to change things a wee bit to make it a bit more defensive because of the league I'm in. So that's my my stats, my tactics, my training is currently set to, as I said earlier, attacking. It will get changed to ball control once I feel like I'm scoring a bit more goals, and I do adjust my things every time. I've not done it for these 2 matches yet, but I do adjust my match preparation depending on the team I'm facing. So this is obviously set to defensive positioning because I'm playing Liverpool. This will be probably defensive positioning because Newcastle are doing quite well this season and they did hammer me earlier on. And then this would be set to probably attacking movement. This one actually I'm going to change to defensive set pieces because I'm struggling a wee bit on set pieces at the moment, so I'm going to change that to defensive set pieces. These things are good to just swap around depending on what you're struggling with, and then this is your main focus for your training. So you just want to make sure that you're picking what your team is struggling with. So at the beginning of the season you always do team cohesion, because that's your squad needs to get to learn the new tactics and everything like that. So I always set the cohesion at least for the first couple of weeks. So that's where we are at the moment, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the update. I know it's been a little bit longer, but it's because I had to get through quite a lot. The next update will probably be, I would think, sometime in March or April possibly in the season, and then we'll come back with an update then, show you the rest of the transfers and how we're getting on and what the end of the season is going to shape up for, what we're going to be aiming for, because as I said, hopefully at the moment we'll be aiming for mid-table, but you never know, we might get dragged down into a relegation battle. It's simply too early to tell, but hopefully if I get the good players in January, which I'm hoping for, then we shouldn't have to worry about that. So if you guys are enjoying the series, I've got obviously a couple of comments and likes, which is always good to see. I'm going to post this up now on FM base possibly. As I said, one of the guys was asking for the tactics. He said he might want to do that as well. There is a section on FM base where you can post your manager stories, so I'm going to post that up there probably at some point tonight, and then hopefully we get some people watching it and are enjoying it. So thanks guys. If you've got any more comments or suggestions or anything, please post them down below, and obviously don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. It's always really good to see and it makes me want to do more videos, so please post that up there as well. So thanks for your time. I'll catch you later. Bye bye.